We're elated to welcome you to Inspiring Voices from the Classroom, a one-of-a-kind show designed to recognize and highlight current mathematics classroom teachers and provide a positive platform that allows their authentic voices to be heard. I'm your host, Dr. Christopher J. Childs. On this episode, we have Mr. Kenneth Golden, who is a middle school math educator at Smithfield Middle School in Cobb County, Georgia. He is in his 10th year of teaching. He has done some amazing things in his career. He has been the local teacher of the year at his school. He's also participated previously on assessment committees, the teacher advisory council, and most recently, he worked on the Georgia Department of Education Standards Review. He is a passionate educator who focuses on mindset. Let's welcome Kenneth Golden to Inspiring Voices from the Classroom. Welcome, Kenneth. How you doing today?
Hey, man, I'm pretty good.
Man, it's a pleasure to have you today as we're here at the library in Stone Mountain, Georgia.
Oh, it's good to be here, man.
Pleasure to have you. Welcome. Sometimes education is like a roller coaster.
Yes.
And you think about a roller coaster, it has ups and downs, but also has thrills and has some slow moments. Thinking about those thrills and then those slow moments, what is the best thing that's happening right now in your educational environment?
So the best thing that's happening right now is just the opportunity for me to grow my practice. That's the best thing that's happening for me right now. You know, I'm at a school where I have this opportunity to get feedback from my colleagues, get feedback from my higher ups, and they're just doing a really great job of just trying to say, hey, this is what we can work on. These are some things that are going great, because it reflects a lot of the things that I tell my students. You always have the opportunity to kind of grow, learn, and reflect, and so I'm giving that opportunity now.
Wait, pause. You said you're still growing. Earlier, you're a 10th year educator, and you're still growing in the field. Talk to the teachers out there.
So
what about that?
you have to continue to grow. I mean, like that's the best thing about teaching. You know, you can never get to a point where you say, I made it, I'm there. You know, because then you start to plateau. You start doing some of the same things continually. And the kids change. So I'm constantly focusing on practice, constantly focusing on, okay, this didn't work for my first period, didn't work for my second, so I can try to change things up and work for my, for my third. So what I try to do is I try to continue researching. I try to continue to seek my higher ups. I try to continue seeking people who have done it before me, some old school teachers. I try to continue to look at new teachers coming in, because they're going to give me that energy that I need to kind of keep going. And the old school teachers are going to tell me, look, you're doing a lot, honey. So let's stick to something consistent, and they keep me grounded. So, I never get to a point, just like I tell my students, we're growing every single day. If you're not growing every single day, you got to start reflecting upon, what are you doing? What's purposeful? So I just try to remain purposeful. I try to keep going, keep growing, and just keep learning.
And I think about this whole piece of education as you talk about how you talk to the veteran teachers. I call them the OGs in the field. Some of the OGs like, don't call me an OG. I'm like, that's an endearing term. But in education, I think we're like a chain, and everybody has to play a part. And that's the veteran teachers, the OGs, they're leading the way. Yeah. We're like in the middle right now doing our part, but we're also pulling in the next generation behind us, because at the end of the day, no matter what we do as an educator, the ultimate focus has to be on what is going to help these children. Yeah. No matter taking all our personal things that we want to do out of it, at the end of our career, that's what it's all about. Yeah. And I think through having these shared conversations with the veteran teachers, with the new teachers, we all understand that piece. And through understanding that piece, it helps us in our classroom environments. And that's why the show is designed, to focus what is happening on the classroom, not all these other factors. So take us into your classroom as a middle school teacher, which is an exciting age for children. What is your classroom environment like?
So I love how you said exciting, because that's exactly what it is. Like I said, kids change every day. Within my classroom, I try to focus on one thing. I try to focus on a mindset, right? You have a difference between, a fixed mindset and a growth mindset.
Okay,
right?
Karen DeWick's work. Okay.
Right. So you're thinking like a fixed mindset says, I can't. I'm not a math person. I ain't got I don't have a math gene, But a growth mindset says, I don't have the ability to do it yet. And the power of the word yet in my classroom, I try to tell students that you may not get it today, but tomorrow there's a possibility. So you're going to see that within my classroom. You're going to see You know, there may be a kid in my classroom who's struggling. By the time that light bulb comes on, they get that energy. They're like, oh, I get it. This is perfect. This is great. And that's what I live for. So every day within my classroom, that's the undertones of what we do. Now, so far as strategies and all of those things, you may see some kids standing up at our vertical boards. You may see some kids using technology to kind of manipulate some things. But all in all, I tell my kids, we got to just keep growing. You know, if you made a 60 today on the assessment, let's try to focus on making a 75. Let's set some realistic goals. Let's try to just keep pushing, keep growing. So that's what you'll see in my classroom.
It sounds like you believe in your children.
I do.
And I don't say students. I'm very humanizing through the lens. I say children. So I want folks listening like, how many kids does he have out there? But to me, all of them, there are children. What makes you believe in them so much as an educator today?
So it's funny you should say they're my children, because that's what I tell them. I say, y'all are my kids. I say, I try to teach like each one of y'all have my last name, because it's got to be. I got to teach like every one of them has my last name. I got to teach like my colleagues have my last name. I got to have that family atmosphere, because if I don't, what investment do I have in you? And then what investment do you have in me? So that's the way I go through it. That's the way, you know, no matter what background, where you come from, I'm gonna make it my goal, make it my effort to make sure that you feel that I care. You know that I care. And you know, I'm never gonna give up no matter what kind of day you having.
And that's the thing as educators, we cannot give up. Even on our worst days, we have to come, we have to bring it, because we never know. For a lot of children, they're looking up to us.
Yeah.
They're looking at us of who they can possibly be one day. So every day we have to literally bring it. So take me through, what was the teaching philosophy you use?
So my teaching philosophy is always, you know, it hinges a lot on that mathematical mindset, but just giving kids the opportunity, just provide them the opportunity. That's just it. You know, I try to think, okay, with this lesson, with this, am I giving them an opportunity to try something new? Am I giving them an opportunity to put their hands on something? I have to be the conduit. I have to be the way maker for them to say, okay, what opportunities Mr. Golden will give me today? So a lot of my teaching philosophy is kind of evolved over the years, but that's what I go back to. What kind of opportunity am I giving my students? What kind of experience am I giving them so that they get it, they remember it, and if I'm using manipulatives, you know, they're gonna say, okay, I remember this concept because of these things I had my hands on. So that's kind of my philosophy.
And I want to change gears from the philosophy. You've done a lot of work on standards. Mm-hmm. And standards essentially kind of drive a lot of the things we do in mathematics education. I know some viewers are looking like, I don't want to hear about standards. We're going to talk about standards because it's a conversation we have to have.
Yes.
And I know off the air, you and I were having a conversation about standards. Could you tell me a little bit more about your work in the standards world, especially here? You're in Georgia. Mm-hmm. I know you all have have you released the standards or about to release new standards? Could you describe that a little bit more for me?
Yeah, so we're continually, so standards have been officially released, but won't be adopted for classroom use until fall of 23.
Okay.
So I had this incredible opportunity to kind of work with teachers from all over the state of Georgia. And we just sat down at a table, we just had some very difficult conversations. We had some real honest conversations about just progression. What should be taught first and what's age, what's developmentally appropriate. You know, we had to have those conversations to just kind of figure out what kind of approach are we going to have as educators when it comes to teaching our children. What kind of experience are we going to provide for them? What kind of resources are we going to provide to make sure that they have the opportunity that every other student in America has, or every other student period has? So we had to have those conversations, and I believe that working on topics and concepts and standards is going to be a continual evolution as we change. But we just had to have that honest conversation. We got a chance to look at some detail-oriented things, and we thought, okay, the reasoning piece has got to be there. So you're going to see those things within the standards. You're going to see that reasoning come upon the standards. You're going to see those resources that are going to support teachers and giving students opportunity to have their own reasoning. So more so of providing students an opportunity to kind of have their own mindset about, okay, how can I approach this problem? What tools can I use that makes sense to me? So that's the kind of focus and that's the kind of shift that we focused on.
And my thing with the standards, thinking about here, we're in Georgia now.
Right.
is making sure students are at least getting the same experience, but the same things are going to be taught to them across the state.
Right.
Otherwise, what we're going to get is a student in one area may be taught these concepts. A student here may be taught a totally different concepts. So at least it provides us the opportunity for students to be exposed to the same concepts. Now, some teachers are watching this. You're trying to make us teach the same way. We're not saying you have to teach it the exact same way,
right?
But we are saying a third grader in the northern part of the state should be experiencing the same concepts as a third grader in the southern part of the state. I don't know why I picked third grade. I just like third grade. Shout out to Miss Carter, my third grade teacher, who may be watching this. Miss Carter, if you're watching this, I made it. I'm on TV, Miss Carter. Just joking. All right, coming back to this. You're doing well in your career. You've learned a lot of things. What would you go back and tell the younger version of you when you first entered education?
Man, just to be honest and candid, man, you're worth it. You are worth it. There's so many nights where I stayed late till 7 at my school. The lesson didn't go well that day. Didn't feel like things were flowing the way they should. And there was many times in education where I wanted to really just throw in the towel. I got to do something different. But every day those kids give me purpose. So I wish that if I could just go back and just tell myself, it's gonna work out, man. Just keep pushing. Just keep pushing, decrease the negative self-talk about, your self-efficacy if what you're teaching is going over well. Because at the end of the day, I got a chance to see, the kids that I taught previously give me that feedback that I may have needed at the moment, but Mr. Golden, I'm doing a great job. I got this great job offer. I'm loving math because of you. You incorporated some spoken word in math as well, and I'm into that. So being able to see that imprint, if I could just tell myself, hey, it's going to work out. Just keep pushing. The kids that you're, involving yourself with, the kids that you're facilitating, the kids that you're working with and loving and enjoying, they get it. They see your passion.
And every day we got to bring it. I know we're here in Georgia, and you have this baseball team. I heard they're pretty good up here in Georgia. Did they win a World Series recently?
Yeah, man.
I want to use an analogy with the teachers out there to keep swinging for the fences. Keep swinging for the fences and knowing you're going to get more opportunities. You're going to get more at-bats. Just as we tell our children, you're going to get another opportunity. As an educator, keep swinging and keep getting better. As Mr. Golden has pointed out, we just got to constantly keep getting better and keep pushing ourselves in what we're doing. Now, as we push ourselves, what is something, I want you to give a call to action to the field. You've done some amazing things. What do you want to put and expound to the field of something you want them to do? No.
I would like more representation. You have no idea what representation means to a kid in a classroom who doesn't believe that they can be in my position or they can have a job that deals with mathematics or deals with science or, we need to do a better job of reaching out to the upcoming. This field is a great field. I want to push the glows. I want to push the grows. I want to push the excitement that teaching brings because it's there. I want to have more representation of people who look like me. I want to have more representation from people from all other different backgrounds because the kids need it. It shouldn't be where a kid is seeing themselves in their teaching career, seeing themselves in the field by the time they get to the end of their high school career. We got to push for people to be within the classrooms, to have a love for children. That's the start. Everything else will come, but that's my biggest push.
It's been a pleasure having you on the show, Mr. Golden. I appreciate everything you're doing. Keep up the amazing work, and I want to give you a toast and give you your flowers. Keep up the great work that you're doing.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Inspiring Voices from the Classroom is brought to you by the National Math Festival. It's organized by the Mathematical Sciences Research Institute. We're grateful to NMF key partners and NMF sponsors for their generous ongoing support. Do you know an amazing classroom teacher that should be featured on our show? Go to www.christopherchilds.com/shows and complete the guest form.